G'day, Steve Morgan here. Australian bass tournaments and in tournament fishing, anglers often get on a roll. For Stewie Walker, it's been for the last 5 years, but for this man, Mick Colotouros, it happened at the Australian Open. It nearly happened at Lake Macquarie. He had a pretty good event there. And then bang, Forster, ABT event win, over $4,000 worth of prizes. You must think brim fishing is snappy doodle good at the moment.
Oh, I'm thinking about quitting my day job, to be honest, at the moment. I had a good result and I'm just really doing well. Just everything's lining up for me at the moment and just sticking to my strengths. So, yeah.
So let's talk about this event. Here you got 3.77 kilos on the first day, which I think put you in second place coming into today. And then you brought in only 3.18 today. Looked like you didn't think it was enough. You dropped the fish on the scales. You're a bit disappointed. Did you think it was going to hold up?
Oh, look, to be honest, I was happy to get over 3 just to keep the consistency going. Did I think 3.18 was going to win? Hell no. I honestly thought that Mark or Chris were going to come back with 4 today and I was going to slip a few places. But, it just didn't happen for a lot of anglers. Even myself, I couldn't crack 4 kilos all weekend. Didn't really have the fish to do it anyway. But just good average size bags and managed to get it. So.
I think you would have to go and congratulate Dallas Blatchford because he, from the back of Mark Healy's boat, caught that 3.9 kilo bag today. You'd have to give him a real big pat on the back.
Mark told me that and I was lost for words. I didn't say anything for a minute. How does that happen? It's crazy. But yeah, good on him. That's awesome. So I'm definitely going to shout that guy a beer. So.
Tell us about your tactics for the weekend and some of the tackle you're using. Where did you fish at Forster here and what made you do it?
So I always fish structure. Any venue I go to, I try find some sort of man-made structure or whatever where I think the fish will hold up. And I don't do much flats fishing. This is primarily a flats fishery or either racks. So I've got a stretch of bank that has some good racks and banks, and I've fished that for the past 5 years, and I milked it for 2 days. I would have used hardly no fuel this weekend. Fishing these one set of racks, and I had it all pretty much to myself. Over 2 days, I think I bumped into 3 people, so just primarily racks and banks and some pretty beefy gear.
It seems like at Forster there are enough sets of racks where if you see someone in a set of racks, you sort of leave them alone. So if you get in there and that's where you're going to live and die by, you do get it to yourself in this place.
Yeah, you do. But having said that, even though all the racks look good, from my experience, I'm no gun or expert at Forster, but even though they look good, they don't fish that well. Don't know why. You've got to find racks that have a bit of depth of water, not too shallow, because it's either you've got good depth of water or you're fishing too shallow, and as soon as your lure hits the surface, you're pretty much stuck on weed straight away. So it's finding good sets of racks that got a bit of depth to it, a bit of flow, and also I like looking for dirty water.
Awesome. Take us through some of this outfits that you brought up. This is sort of the big gear. This isn't what you'd use maybe in Sydney Harbour. You're upping it a bit.
Yeah, so it's a pretty stiff stick. Pretty stiff stick. I've got a 2500 Daiwa Certate on there, 12-pound braid, 10-pound leader, and the heaviest gauge hook I can find in TT's lineup. So
that's a hidden weight system you got there. Is it a number 1 heavy?
It's a number 1 in the heavy, and that's, I believe, a 1/16th, and that's on the Bait Junkie Bloodworm grub.
Now, bloodworm is a bit of a theme for your weekend. A lot of guys using the Bait Junkie bloodworms. You said at the presentation you were using the Squidgy regular bloodworm as well. Yeah. That was a bit of an old advice you got, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to fish with some really talented fishermen when I first started with ABT as a non-boater. And every time we fished the racks, they always said to me, bloodworm was a gun colour for the racks. It must just be the colour of the water. And that's stuck with me ever since. Even my local waterway at the Hawkesbury, when I fish the racks, it's all bloodworm wrigglers in the Squidgy lineup, Z-Man grubs, or even the Bait Junkie grubs in the bloodworm. So I didn't use anything. I probably went through about 10 packs of grubs and bloodworm wrigglers this weekend and about 50 jig heads.
Wow, so pretty heavy on the gear. Yeah. Speaking of heavy, 1.29 kilos was a YOLO Tech Big Brim for the weekend. Take us through that capture.
That was pretty epic. I hooked it at the end of the rack, thankfully. I actually cast in between the 2 rails, which is suicide casting, but I just thought, oh, bugger it, I'll give it a go. Sure enough, as soon as the lure hit the water, clunk, I was on, and he actually swam straight out of the rack, and he raced so far to one side, and I yanked him that he actually turned direction, came onto the surface, shook his head. We got a good look at him, and then bolted the other way. And when I actually turned his head the second time, I got him gliding on the surface. I picked up the net. I went to go net him. The net fell out of my hand. The net actually landed in the water and started sinking. I dived over the side of the boat, grabbed the net. My non-boater grabbed me, and then I netted the fish backwards, and then got him in the net. And so yeah, it was pretty epic. So it was good.
Oh, mate, you do your big brim with style. I remember the one at the Australian Open. There were boats going all over the joint, and the leader was all frayed. Yeah. It always comes with a great story, mate. You are a human highlights reel, aren't you?
Yeah, I wish I got it on camera yesterday, but yeah, I've been having a bit of fun with my big brim.
Awesome. Any sponsors you want to thank, mate? You are on a real roll at the moment.
Yeah, so I don't have any personal sponsors, but I would like to do a massive shout out to ABT, Daiwa, for sponsoring this event. I use a lot of Daiwa product, and it's a fantastic product. And yeah, everyone for turning up and making this event what it is. So yeah,
it was an awesome event. All of those guys helped contribute to your $3,500 for the first place, $500 for that YOLO Tech Big Brim, and another $250 for running that Big Merc V8 on the back. She is a pretty outboard, isn't it?
Yeah, I every time I look at it, I get a bit of a grin on my face. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Awesome, mate. Well, here he is. We're going to leave you there. This is a man who is going to be racing up the boater rankings for the Brim at the moment. Wins the Australian Open, top 10 at Lake Macquarie, and bang, wins it at Forster. We're going to see you at Ballina, mate. You're going to go for a drive up the coast, get out of your comfort zone.
I should, but I'm not. But you'll definitely see me at St George's Basin.
Awesome, mate. We look forward to seeing you then, Steve Morgan, and the champ Mick Colotouros checking out from Forster.